Hello, 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 everyone. How we doing? It's Sunday evening, Central Time. So it's Sunday evening in some part of the world, and I'm glad to be with you here today. So get in the building. We're doing this.
Recording in progress.
All right. Super excited to be with you here today. Sundays are for what? Sundays are for stories, and that's why we're here today to talk all things stories from the book A Line in the Sand. Said book is here. And, let me tell you something real funny. So on Valentine's Day, by the time my newsletter went out, people were like, oh my gosh, brother, oh my gosh, brother, don't you want us to enjoy Valentine's Day? And I say, wait, what happened? And they were like, well, your post, what you posted, I was, wondering, why would you send that? And I had to remember that my team did a social media post from the story, The Card, which I'm about to share with you today. And they say, hey, as wonderful as Valentine's is, as generous as we feel when we're so infatuated with love, that we want to spoil somebody, we should remember the capacity of our pockets. We should remember that what we should do is something that should align with our values. It's something that should align with our truest feelings and our intentions. And this is not just about money. It might be, somebody said, 364 days of the year. You might be in what others would term a bad relationship, a horrible relationship. You might be in an abusive situation, but you just keep doing it and keep just being there and keep doing. Meanwhile, on those 2 days of Valentine, you're like, oh my gosh, the best thing since fried rice. I've never known such a wonderful person. It's like God created you and chiseled you for me. And you begin to go out on a limb just to prove true something that is not true. That is not necessary. It's not necessary to go into debt just to do this lavish show of something. And I know my friend tried to prove to me that no, it's justified, it's worth it. It's justified if that is your lifestyle and you can afford to pay back in a reasonable time. But did you check in with your spouse just to see if that is something that they really want or need? Did you check in with them, especially if it is something that will involve both of you paying? Mm-hmm. I've said a lot. Do you want to hear the story? No, if you want to hear the story, I gotta hear you. I gotta hear you. I gotta what? Hear you on the story. And let me go ahead and share this to all of you on other platforms. Yep, we're doing this. Share. So go ahead and you also share because I'm sharing right now. There's people who've told me, let me know when you're online. Did I share? No, I didn't. So now is the time. I'm letting you know. So as you are getting in there, go ahead and do this. Sundays are for what? Sundays are for stories. Okay, cool. All right. So let's get started on today's story. Y'all ready for this? If you're ready, can you shout? I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, you can go ahead and shout that you're ready while I post this on the platforms. All right. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We're live and direct, and we're doing this. We are doing this. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to be talking about living a true life that is aligned with your values, your beliefs, your desires as a couple, building something that is actually worthwhile, building something that is true. Because if you live a lie on Valentine's Day, guess where else you're going to be living the lie? The rest of the other 364 days of the year, 365 in a leap year. We're not about that. Okay, we're about being aligned in love. We're about being true. If you're not true to your spouse, who else? Like, how? Who else will you be true to? If you do not have room to be true, chances are you started on the wrong foot. But I have something for you today that can realign you. And I want you to begin to put this into practice in your relationships. All right, we ready? We ready? Let's go. So Shamika was giddy with excitement and anticipation. She was literally floating around the 550 square foot apartment, moving from the only bedroom to the living room, stopping at the kitchen's island. She raised the cup in her hand and breathed the whiff of her ginger peach herbal tea, eyes closed. This was her rejuvenation ritual. Hey. So this is a story that you're going to find out soon. It's about two people from different cultures. And just listen, again, this book is A Line in the Sand. Yo, hold on. This um I'm going to start the live video again. We'll keep going. I'll keep you posted. Okay. All righty. This is how live things do. Live things don't always follow a pattern like that. And this is for those of you on Instagram. Those of you on Instagram joining us, we are reading A Line in the Sand. And those of you on YouTube, thank you for being there. And we're going to be reviewing one of our stories. Remember, this is our series in the month of love. It's called Stories Are for Sundays. Sundays are for stories, actually, but they both work, right? And this, the car, is a story about two people living in alignment with their love, with their purpose, with the truth, the belief, and the values, the goals that they've set for themselves, and not feeling the need to tweak things just so that other people can think that they're cool, but literally living and aligning with each other to accomplish the goals and the purposes for which they met. Okay. Um, I was reading this and I said, hey, Shamika was giddy with excitement and anticipation. And then the next paragraph says, Edosa was gone for weeks at a time at his job. He worked as a geologist in the industrial town of Odessa, South Texas, where the landscape teemed with oil rigs and dusty plains. He worked shifts, one week on, the other off in alternating schedules. Sometimes he would get to cover for someone and work 3 weeks straight. This was how he was making the money to pay back the high interest student loans from his graduate school. Remember, Shamika was excited Edosa is coming back today, right? So more background on Edosa. He was born in the United States but grew up in Nigeria. After his first degree at the University of Benin, he relocated to America. When he moved, he was only 23 years old with little money in his pockets. He was grateful for a 2 week stay at his distant cousin's before he set out to school. True, he had a partial scholarship to attend the University of Oklahoma, but to make up the difference, he had taken out loans from the bank. As he had not been resident in the state for up to 3 years, he did not qualify for the more affordable government loans. He worked night shifts at the nursing home as an aide to make up money for his bills. That was where Shamika met him. Remember Shamika? She was also a nurse's aide and had worked at Tender Care Nursing Home since she graduated high school 3 years ago. She lived on her own and was saving money diligently towards college. As a teenager, she knew that she wanted to be a social worker, helping children and those in need to solve problems and navigate life. She had the emotional mastery, the self determination, and empathy needed to do the job. Google and everyone warned that it did not pay much, that social work, but she knew if she was financially prudent, she could make a good living. This was a girl with a good head on her shoulders. It said in the story, Shamika had been on her own since 17. When her parents had decided to move to Alaska for a higher paying job, she opted to stay back. They were drowning in debt and kept chasing higher pay to no avail. If they never reined in their spending and built a retirement plan, she doubted they would make headway. This is Shamika. This is her background. Think about it. She's thinking of her parents and thinking, they need to be more prudent, like financially, right? But she was thinking here, she said, hey, they had made their choice. She had a future to build for herself. She had already caught a vision that she was determined to walk in. Moreover, she had been adulting since she was old enough to work at 16, and she had some money saved. She shared a flat with some cousins and kept working, all the while planning to pay her way through school. She would be the first in her family to graduate college, and she intended to work towards that possibility. Are you seeing who Shamika is? We're built by our values are built by our experiences, those things we saw, which we thought was good, that we collected for ourselves, and those things that we noticed that may not be the best way to live a life, may not be the best way for the future, but we went ahead to say, okay, this one we won't do. And reading the story from A Line in the Sand, the car introduces Shamika and Edosa. Edosa was this person, he finally made it to America. He took some loans to be able to get to school. Wonderful, awesome. And then Shamika doing the same thing, saw her parents spending anyhow. Some of us already know, we've had some parents like that, right? And she went ahead to see that this was not a life she wanted for herself. She started working from 16, saving money, and all these things. Anyway, so now she's met Edosa in this nursing home where they're both kind of um, making extra money to be able to add to paying their loans, paying their way through school. So when she first met Edosa, she was taken in by his work ethic, his character, and his intelligence. His Nigerian accent was definitely interesting. She found it sexy. He spoke in that semi-formal way she had come to find was cultural, calling folks sir and ma. The residents were all taken by him. He knew them by name, prefaced by Mr. and Mrs., of course. He was easy and caring, always going the extra mile, but most of all, he was genuinely grateful for the opportunity to bring his dreams to fruition. And you can see this has been his paradigm, right? That was why they took to each other, the shared visions of the future. Never forget why you got together with your spouse. There's always a reason. Looking at a better life, looking at moving places, looking at careers, looking at a life of love, looking at many different things. There's a reason you both came together. Is that they shared visions of the future, and all the hard work they were willing to put in to make it happen. These were people that were like, okay, I have student loans, I'm going to pay it all back, I'm going to work my way through. Yes, they had high interest. You can already see that this was their background, because sometimes it's easy to judge a picture from the front, but you'll see more why this scenario didn't work for this couple. And what is that scenario? It's about to happen in the next couple of pages here. All right. So 3 years later, he had graduated with a master's in petrophysics geology, while Shamika now had her associate's degree in science from the community college. She had just enrolled for the bachelor's degree in social work. Through it all, she paid her way through school and continued working. Even though they were both making money now, they were a long way from paying off over $30,000 that Edosa had obtained during his master's. That's why she wholeheartedly supported him, working several weeks at a time. Several weeks at a time. They were on track to pay off the bills in 3 years at the pace they were going. Seeing the capital reduce as they increased the payments excited Shamika. This is somebody you can see she had talked early about her prudence and financial matters. She had been interested in making her way to doing her dream, even though it didn't pay as much. Why? Because she was prudent and she knew she could still live a life of her dreams, make a way for herself. Anyway, they had gotten married after he graduated with no plans for kids for the next couple of years. After all, they were young and had time. Debt was a dirty word to her, and she shared those principles of paying off debt, saving, and investing with Edosa. Remember, before they shared the work ethic, they shared the vision of going to college, making a better way for life for themselves, and making an impact on society. And now they share dreams of money goals, paying off debt, saving, investing. Even though he was hardworking, he did not necessarily seem to have a plan for his money when he started earning till she stepped in. Seeing how her parents had carried student loans almost all their lives was not desirable for her. So she planned her life with this ideal of frugality. Remember, we're reminded several times of her values, of her intention, the things that were important to her. Now, think about it. And we're starting now with we're getting to, well, we're at the middle, actually, the second half of the story. Edosa had told her he had a special surprise for her 25th birthday, which was today. It was a landmark birthday. He had made it such a fuss and asked her to guess the gift. She had tried, but after guessing a luxurious spa date and even an outrageous latest iPhone, she had given up. But he kept promising that it'll blow her mind. So she could hardly contain her excitement. Woohoo! Have you ever expected a gift of your birthday will be? So she was still here thinking like a normal human being. What is Edosa about to do? What is Edosa about to do? That's how, what did she hear? Honk, honk! The blaring horn from out front jolted her, and her lips were scalded by the hot tea she was drinking. She had warned him to stop honking, but Edosa said it was a Nigerian thing, and it was supposed to be endearing, like, honey, I'm home. One of his many idiosyncrasies that she simply shook her head and laughed at now. She walked out to the garage and found a strange sight. There was a car with a huge red bow on its hood. It was a brand new Lexus sedan, parked right next to her 15-year-old Nissan Sentra, the car she named Ride or Die, with over 200,000 miles on it. At first, he thought he had won the car because remember Red Bull. What is this, Edosa, she said, eyes darting from car to his face and then back again. A car, Shamika. Whose is it? I don't understand. Her voice was trailing off. It is yours, my love. Happy birthday. He was grinning ear to ear. Boy, don't play with me. Stop fooling around, please. Did you win it? She was getting antsy now. No, baby. I got it for you. I want to say thank you for all you've been to me. I would never have made it in America if not for you. I love you with all my heart. Happy birthday, Shamika. His eyes were teary, and he walked over and held her hands, looking as proud as the day he walked across the stage to collect his diploma. I've been wanting to do something like this since I met you. Thank God today I finally have. She smiled, thought, and said, I appreciate this gesture. Really, I do. And I love you too. She kissed him warmly and rested her head on his generous chest. Her heart was beating steadily as he cradled her 1 second longer. As they separated, he made to hand her the key. Somebody say problem. No, no, no. Say problem, Mo. Say trouble. But she pushed it away, a firm look in her eyes. He could sense the sassiness coming through, and he wondered out loud, what's the matter? Do you not like the color, or would you prefer another model? She said, I do like it, but unless you won the lottery or someone gave you this as a gift, please return this car to wherever you got it. We will not go into debt because of a car. He stood there, incredulous and feebly arguing. This was how his dad surprised his mom with a car. All his friends did this. The wives were always ecstatic and turned to social media to share their delight at the surprise and gratitude to their loving husbands. Shamika was supposed to be jumping for joy. Remember, he has gotten this car as a gift. It's her 25th birthday. They were paying off student loans and saving and investing, all these things. And Shamika just said, nah, she don't even want. She's not wanting. She sashayed back into the house, stopped in the doorway to say, hurry up, boo. Lunch is almost ready. The next time you get such a wild idea, be sure to check in with me first. That's how Shamika bounced out of the place. I feel like applauding Shamika because what's up now? What's up? Woo! He didn't even get to answer before she shut the door in his face. You see, he had a background that fueled this. The background is that if you have made it in life, you should be able to do that big marriage proposal. You should be able to drop that car. You should be able to buy that house. You should be able to do all these things. But him and his wife, they weren't there. They weren't in that position to be able to afford that. However, he said that's how his dad bought his wife a car. Was he his dad? No. Was he heavily in debt? Yes. But what did he do? He went to the dealership, bought the brand new car. How did he buy it? He signed for it, credit. They have not finished paying. No, remember, Shamika is waiting for them to finish paying so she can go to school and do all these things. But no, there he is, surprising his wife. Because why? He said all his friends did this. The wives were always ecstatic and turned to social media to share their delight at the surprise and gratitude to their loving husbands. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. It's my birthday. Look what Boo brought for me. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. It's Valentine's Day. Look at my pretty gift. Is there anything wrong with gifts? No. But do we do it just so that we can feel among? No. Do we do it so we can go into debt and compromise our future visions? No. That's not why we do it. So what happened to Shamika and Edusa after that? 3 kids, no debt, and 1 house later. They laughed about it all the time now, but they never made any major financial commitments without first talking about it anymore. Edosa has stuck to perfumes, flowers, and spa gifts since then. Here ends the reading. This story is the car, and it is the very last story of the book, A Line in the Sand, which for the month of February, which is the month of love, even though all the other months we should not also remove love from the picture, you can get it. Click the link in my bio and you can get it. And there are so many bonuses going with it now. I do not want you to miss out on this. Definitely get in there. Why is this important? It is important that whenever you do have a spouse, you both talk about things that are so important to you. I remember one time I heard someone say, hey, my husband said, hey, come, let's go out. And she went, I think she traveled and she was just coming back. And he was like, oh, yeah, let me take you out. And they went somewhere to a house and he opened the door and they walked in. And he was like, ta-da, welcome to your new home. I'm sorry, say what? Welcome to your new home. I'm sorry, say what exactly? What do you mean new home? Because I had another house before, my stuff is there. And he said, we're no longer going back to that home. I've had your clothes and everything moved. This is going to be our new home. And for sure, the kids were in the house. If it were you, how would you feel? If it were you, what would you think? And some of you, that is your dream, that is your vision. But it's important to know what kind of person you are. For me, that's not my dream, that's not my vision. And if that's your dream, that's your vision, I want to know, did you go into marriage with, thinking you wanted a sugar daddy or a sugar mommy? Because even Bill Gates, well, when he was still married, I don't think he could have bought a full-blown house without his wife's knowledge, without the decency, the respect, the partnership of bringing her in on the decision of where they're going to live. That is not a surprise. Where I'll be spending my life, my living, waking hours, is not somewhere that is a surprise. You see, so sometimes we've made relationships this so codependent thing that doesn't allow us to show up fully as ourselves. We've allowed social media influence how we want to be, what kind of cars to have, and whether they should put a bow on it. Some people buy gifts for themselves, take a picture, put it on social media, and say their spouse is bought for them. There has to be both the internal and external boundaries. In this story, Shamika had both. She had the internal one that allowed her to live a certain way and meet her goals and accomplishments and alignments and live aligned to her values and beliefs. And then she had the external one where, my gosh, that brand new car sitting next to a Nissan Sentra, tell me she wasn't tempted. But she knew that they had higher ideals, and that if they dug in and did this groundwork, that in the future they can buy any kind of vehicle they would want. Never forget it. Your goals are what lead you to boundaries. It's very hard to set boundaries when you don't have goals. When you don't have a target, it's very hard to set boundaries. Boundaries are that which allows you to stay on course to your goal. Woo! I've never said it like that before, but thinking about it now, it makes so much sense. You're moving from A to B, and as you're moving, you're going zigzag, zigzag. Boundaries are like the fence here. This is the goal. This is where you're coming from. So as you're coming like this, you are veering off here, boop. You're going like this, you're veering up here, boop, and so on and so forth till you get to goal. And she was like, no, I cannot be derailed. If not, should have kept going this way. Before she remembers to come back this way, time would have gone, money would have gone, effort, so many things. These are the kind of stories you're writing here. We talk about money, infidelity, unfaith. I said infidelity and unfaithfulness, infertility, friendship, parenting, so many themes, goals, visions, abuse. We talk about so many themes, and this one was just about money, boundaries, and I look forward to speaking with you next week, because guess what Sundays are? Sundays are for stories. All right. Get your copy of the book, click the link in bio, look on the YouTube description here, and you will find it. Most of all, come back to this video, watch it again. Journal, what am I uncomfortable with in my relationship? First of all, you're going to journal it before you even actually know the kind of boundaries you should be setting. And then when you do not be afraid, not for a second, to set the kind of boundaries you need. If it means rejecting a gift that you know is going to indemnify the word, lawyers help me, but is going to make you indebted without your permission, because guess who would have been paying for that car? Edosa and Shamika, not just Edosa. For what? For one moment of celebration on Instagram, 1,000 likes? Is it worth your peace? Is it worth your actual goal? Determine for yourself and do the right thing. Set the boundaries that you need to live the life that you envision. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you next week, because guess what Sundays are for? Sundays are for stories. Well done, and God bless. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. I definitely want to take it, and I'll take it in my next video or right here